Итак, всем доброго времени суток, уважаемые зрители, с вами alekszov, и мы продолжаем проходить Genshin, продолжаем проходить очередной фестиваль фонарей, да, и продолжаем расследовать какое-то дело со странными звуками, странной музыкой, доносящейся откуда-то, хотя я более чем уверен, что это просто Синлин готовится к выступлению, не более того.
Hey, who are you? Where did...
The evidence is conclusive. Okay, confess and we'll go easy on you. My patience is running low, so why don't you do us both a favor,
You kidding me? You think I'm scared of you?
Perhaps not, but you should be.
О, за Елань дают поиграть.
Busted!
Ну чё ты там?
Quietly.
Curses. Seems like you're not all talk after all. There's no going back now. Better up my game.
Чё ты там болтаешь? Давай.
Busted!
You're open.
Поднимайся.
Quietly.
Фу, лошок какой-то.
Mercy! Have mercy!
Oh, it's a little late for that. I've come this far, I might as well finish the job.
I surrender! I surrender, please! I'll do whatever you say. But...
Tell us everything. You have one chance. And I'm warning you. Don't make me ask twice.
I won't, I swear. You know, so... Lantern Right's nearly here, and like a lot of people, I wanted to buy a few nice things. I know I'm with the treasure hoarders and everything, but I don't really have any kind of experience with robbing people and whatnot. So I don't have the guts to break it.
Wow, you're really going to complain to us about that?
No, not at all. I'm just telling it how it is.
Okay. Continue.
I racked my brains trying to think of what I could do. And eventually, I remembered something from back when I was a kid. The bandits would blow their horn, and my grandma would grab us kids and run. I remember the tune, so I figured I'd try it for myself. I mean, just to see what would happen. At first, anyway, I seriously didn't expect that family to pack up and leave. But they did. And they just left all their stuff right there for the taking. It was too easy. I couldn't resist. It was completely wrong of me. I know that now. I'll return everything that I took. It's all still in perfect condition. It'll be like it was never gone. Please.
Give you a chance, huh? Sounds to me like you'd rather strike some kind of a deal than spend Lantern Right behind bars.
Yes? Yes?
Yes.
You know how to bargain, I'll give you that. It's just a pity that you didn't confess at the first opportunity.
Не, нихуя не умеет торговать. Блять, это даже не торг, камон.
You'll have to take a walk with me. Once we've returned the goods, we'll find the owner of the house, and you can apologize to them in person. After that, I'll escort you to the Ministry of Civil Affairs.
Yes, ma'am!
You know, as a former victim of this kind of crime yourself, I doubt anyone understands the fear you inflicted quite as well as you do. Does your greed matter more to you than your fear? More to the point, if you can play a tune from memory, don't you think you should be capable of making an honest living?
You mean...
That's enough hints for you. You'll have plenty of time to reflect on all of this yourself. There's not much left to wrap up, so I'll take it from here. Guess this is where I'll say goodbye.
What is it?
I'm still not sure how you first got your hands on this information. So play it safe when you get back. Don't mention to anyone that you ran into me out here. You helped a lot with the investigation and arrest anyway, so it's perfectly fair for you to get all the credit. Just take it. It works better for me, too. See you when I see you. And happy Lantern Rite.
Leon's such a pro at this. With her taking it from here, it's as good as resolved. Whoosh! Random event, a strange melody, complete. Although, it's kind of a shame that we never got that treasure hoarder guy to play the melody again. 'Cause Paimon's curious, that's why. It's like when you have a tune stuck in your head, but you don't even know what it is. It's driving Paimon crazy. When we were chatting with Mr. Dvorak, music seemed like such a positive thing. And most music is, right? It can help us relax, feel all warm and fuzzy, recall happy memories, or even just think happy thoughts.
Ну, зависит от музыки. Далеко не вся музыка такая.
Paimon never imagined that music could be used to commit crimes. Oh, really? Huh. Makes sense. Paimon's musical understanding improves again! Well, anyway, now that everything's resolved, let's get back to Liyue Harbor. Paimon's still waiting for us with our random event rewards.
Кстати, когда Елань к нам нагнулась и прошептала на ушко, что-то это на шепот вообще не похоже. Могли бы хоть, не знаю, шепотом сказать. А иначе зачем было нагинаться, чтобы сказать мне это на ухо, если громкость не изменилась. Ну да ладно. Мы, кстати говоря, все никак не отнесем эти бамбуковые ростки джунгли, чтобы он приготовил суп или что он там готовит. А вот днем город как-то выглядит по-обычному. Нет, там, конечно, стоит вон апостамент, но в остальном как-то обычно выглядит все.
Byron, we're back! Everything's all sorted!
That's great news! Oh, please wait here a moment if you would be so kind. Lady Ningguang instructed me to advise her upon your return.
My greetings to both of you. Long time no see.
No need to be so formal with us, Ningguang. We've known each other for a long time now. You must be super busy with all the preparations for Lantern Rite. Don't mind us.
On the contrary, I think it is those that I have known longest to whom I should extend the greatest courtesies. Alas, on a different day, I would invite both of you inside for some tea and a brief respite from your travels. But you're quite right. Trivial matters aside, there's no escaping the fact that we have a grand concert to organize. Once the performance itself is over, we'll then need to invite the representatives of the Iridescence Tour for a discussion on future collaboration opportunities. The financing arrangements alone could well entail many rounds of discussion. Simply put, there will always be work to do.
Whoa, you're already thinking that far ahead?
Well, we can discuss more current affairs if you'd... I trust you saw this year's Mingxiao lantern at the docks when you arrived at the city?
Не обратил внимания.
Yeah, it looked like a goose. Which Adeptus is it modeled on this time?
Sea Gazer. I believe you're familiar with the name. Legend holds that he was free-spirited and easygoing. People described him as a cheerful soul and a loyal friend.
Не помню.
On this marvelous lantern rite, we pray that the fallen heroes may be guided home. If the sound of music can flow like the rivers and streams into every corner of the land, perhaps the souls of those who have gone before us will hear the song of a new era. I wondered whether the melodies will be to their liking.
Oh, they're gonna love them. Paimon's sure of it. At least, if the guy you mentioned is anything to go by, the Adepti and Heroes of the Past sound like a positive and free-spirited, cheerful bunch. They're sure to be open to new music.
Well, let's hope so. I heard that you'll be going on a search with Ganyu to find the descendants of a fairy lady from a Fontaine legend. I'm sure this quest to uncover the truth behind an ancient story will turn into a most charming tale. Do share it with me, won't you? I couldn't bear to miss out.
Так, а вот и основное событие. Сияющие искры, бумажный театр, морское патрулирование и незримые подвиги. Так, это штука для запуска фейерверков. Серьезно? По-моему... По-моему, здесь будет пожар. Еще один. Ладно.
Looks like it's about time for us to meet up with Ganyu. Let's head to Eugene Terrace.
Ну, пойдем. Ого, дерево так светится в храме на руками, что аж сюда видно. О, засыпает на месте.
Greetings, traveler in Paimon. What time is it?
Ты опять не спала?
Are you okay, Ganyu? You were nodding off there. Didn't you sleep well last night?
I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Let's discuss the matter at hand. Since last time, I've been thinking a lot about the story Paimon told. In essence, someone rescued a drowning man and performed some music. If that were all there was to it, it could have been many people. But the tune was allegedly so wonderful that the drowning man forgot about everything else, even his own impending death, and only came to his senses after being brought to shore. Perhaps there was an adeptal power at work in that music that he, as a mortal, could not perceive. Or perhaps he sensed a power surrounding him but lacked the words to describe it, not knowing where it came from. Either way, if this part of the story is true, then the rescuer has to have been an adeptus.
Ну, это весьма очевидно.
You really think so? But this story is all the way from Fontaine. Isn't this a bit of a long shot? Also, Paimon's really curious about how people from Fontaine think this fairy lady looked. Ooh, like a crystal fly's wings? That would be pretty cool. But Paimon definitely can't imagine any of the Adepti looking like that. Actually, Ganyu, if you had to save a drowning person, how would you go about it?
Huh? Me? Well, I'd get them to the shore, and then I'd probably hide behind a tree and watch them for a while.
Зачем? Зачем прятаться и наблюдать из-за дерева? Ты что, сталкер? Что-то какие-то у тебя странные наклонности.
Once I was sure that they were going to be okay, I'd slip away without a sound.
Got it. So basically, Ganya's the type of person who doesn't like taking credit for her good deeds.
No, it's not like that. I'm just not very good at explaining things. And I also find it really awkward accepting other people's gratitude.
Well, what if this Adeptus in the story had a similar attitude? That would explain why she just left without saying a word. She was probably thinking something like, one was merely passing by and saw fit to address this egregious disruption to one's graceful zithering at once. You may keep your thanks to yourself.
That was actually a very good impression of Cloud Retainer, Paimon. As far as I'm aware, Cloud Retainer isn't the most musically gifted. Still, we can't completely rule her out just yet. If we set off now, we could head to Mount Outsung and ask her about it. You'll be able to confirm either way if it's her, and I can,
Повидаться со своей... Кто она тебе? Наставницей?
I've been in Lea Harbor for so long now that I'm just not as familiar with the Adepti anymore. If there's anything we want to know about them, she's the best person to ask.
Sounds great! And we're pretty close with Cloud Retainer by now, so we probably don't even need to bring her food this time, right?
I've prepared a gift for her to mark the festival, just in case. However, Cloud Retainer spends most of her days studying mechanisms in her abode. She's on her own so much of the time that the moment she has someone to chat with, she just... Never mind. I promised I'd help Mr. Dvorak, and now that I've made the contract, I can't be having second thoughts. Traveler, Paimon, let's set off for Cloud Retainer's abode.
Seems like this is a tough decision for Ganyu, but she's made up her mind now. Paimon gets why she'd be so anxious. Okay, how about this? If Cloud Retainer tries to start telling stories about her again this year, we should pipe up and change the topic.
Ни в коем случае, будем слушать. Мне интересно.
Wait, did she leave already? Hey, Ganyu, wait up!
Так, ну погнали. Блять, не туда.
Paimon's so tired from trying to keep up. Don't either of you need to take any breaks?
I can't believe it. Cloud Retainer is not here.
Huh? Did we miss her?
She doesn't like to travel, so in the past, it's always been the other Adepti who come to visit her during the festivals. True. Now that I think about it, Cloud Retainer would be quite capable of taking care of anything on her own. Since she's not here, I guess the next step is to check all the other Adepti abodes, one by one.
Uh-oh. Will it involve a lot more traveling?
Ты вообще летаешь. Не тебе жаловаться.
Got it!
Please go on, Paimon.
Our goal here is to find the Adeptus that helped Dvorak's ancestor, right? We can't hear any music right now, but if she's really as nice as the story suggests, she'd definitely come to help anyone who was drowning, right?
Ты хочешь попробовать тут утопиться? Или чтоб мы тебя утопили? Я с радостью. Только на этот раз я тебя вылавливать не буду.
Yes, I think that's fair to say.
So, all we have to do is get the traveler to pretend to fall into the water, water, and the Adeptus will come to the rescue.
Не, вообще не. Ты не угадала. Тонущей будешь ты.
You know perfectly well that Paimon can't swim. Paimon would sink like a rock.
В этом-то и смысл.
Just trust Paimon. The water's pretty deep over there. Quick, swim to the very center.
Тебе надо, ты плыви. Чё я должен, блин, плавать и строить из себя утопающего?
Help! Help! Someone's drowning. If only there was a kind-hearted Adeptus here to save us. Oh no! Whatever will a Paimon do?
Ты слишком наигранно звучишь.
What is going on?
Ну, конечно ж, кто же еще? О, и эта подруга.
How do you feel right now? Shenhe, and the conqueror of demons.
Мы тут это, балуемся.
Why don't you say something? Please don't make Paimon explain it.
Ты это затеяла, ты объясняй.
Okay, fine. Paimon will explain. We're looking for an Adeptus who's good at being a lifeguard and playing music. But if the Adepti aren't gonna stay home, then how are we supposed to find them?
It wasn't me.
Yeah, so this Adeptus is most likely a woman.
And I am not an Adeptus, as you both already know, Traveler and Paimon.
Я не адепт. Может быть и вместо вы, а то это вы как-то ни к селу, ни к городу. Я не адепт. Может быть либо увы, либо и я не адепт. Ну да ладно. Опять ошибки. Да я бы поспорил насчет того, что ты не адепт, потому что ты, бля, скалы таскаешь. Как ты можешь быть не адептом, если ты скалы таскаешь? И где твой пуп?
Okay, so this is Paimon's fault.
Ну, как всегда.
No way Paimon would have suggested this idea if she'd known how awkward this was gonna be.
Glad you're okay. As far as I know, the one you seek is no Yaksha. And one last thing. Your actions here caused others a great deal of worry. Do not repeat them again in the future.
Ну, это все Паймон виновата.
As ever, the conqueror of demons comes and goes, just like the wind. Right. I didn't dare to say a word just now. How's your training going, Shenhe? Have you made any plans for Lantern Rite? We could spend it together in Liyue Harbor if you'd like. Oh, I had planned to spend the festival with Master this year. However... Oh, speaking of Cloud Retainer, when did you see her last? Earlier this morning. She set off for Mount Hulao at dawn. I noticed she was using an Adeptus art of some kind to protect a mechanism that looked like a boiler. Maybe it was a gift for Mountain Shaper. I did not inquire. So we just missed her. Please excuse me for a moment. I think I'll leave the gift in her abode. Sure. Thank you.
It sounds like Ganyu and Shenhe have gotten a lot closer recently.
Yes. During the summer and winter, I continued to train with Master. In the other months of the year, I have been learning to adapt to human life in Liyue Harbor. Ganyu arranged accommodations for me in the city, and also recommended several work positions for me. But when I try to blend in by referring to her as Miss Ganyu or Lady Ganyu, like the others,
She says I mustn't address her like that. Sometimes I'm supposed to copy other people. Sometimes I'm not. It's a little difficult to keep track of everything. Oh, is that what it is? Noted. So, you came looking for Master today because you wanted to ask her about the Mystery Adeptus. Is that right?
Yep. Oh, speaking of that, have you ever heard any music while out training in the mountains?
Music? What is that?
Что такое вашей музыки? Не знаем мы таких.
It's a kind of a happy or relaxing sound, or a nerve-wracking sound, or even a terrifying one.
Ты хуёво объясняешь.
Okay, I'm done. I also left her a note so that she knows where to find us. We won't miss her again.
Yay! That's really helpful. Thanks.
We were just talking about this thing called music, and based on Paimon's description, I do believe I hear it every day. Please follow me.
Oh, really? Great, let's go!
О, тут какой-то бой намечается.
This is the place. I enjoy training here to the sound of music.
Ты чё орёшь?
Oh no! Paimon's gone deaf! Paimon can't hear anything!
Сочувствую.
Oh, whew! Paimon hasn't gone deaf after all! Paimon heard you when you just spoke. Anyway, where is this music?
The faint sound of birdsong, the quiet murmur of the streams. These are relaxing sounds. Are they not the music of which you speak?
Ну, судя из описания Пайман, да, это тоже музыка. Но нас интересуют неестественные звуки. Искусственные.
Oh, Paimon wasn't quite done with the description. Okay, fine, it's all Paimon's fault. What we're looking for are not the sounds of nature, but melodies played on special instruments.
And a melody is?
Huh?
Hey, why don't you just sing that one melody Shen has heard before? It'll probably help her to understand what we're talking about.
Но это пение, это не музыка.
Oh, was that from the opera that Yunjin sang?
That was a melody, and melodies can be called music.
Ну, не совсем.
It felt like I was transported back to the past. In my mind's eye, I could see the Zhao lanterns lighting up the night sky again. We're all there, raising our glasses and drinking to our heart's content on the Jade Chamber. As I watched Yunjin's performance, I felt a warm sensation in my heart. And as the drink reached my stomach, It went from warm to hot. When you hummed that melody just now, feelings from a whole year ago came right back to me, as strong as they were on that day. Huh. So that's the power of music.
Wow, Shenhe. That was so deep! Music definitely has the power to bring up memories. It's like a time capsule with all the special moments from our lives squished inside. What about you, Ganyu? Are there any melodies that have left a deep impression on you?
I don't remember if my parents ever sang any lullabies to me. I know some local folk songs, and a few other things come to mind too. The songs of the sailors down at the docks, the little ditties that the vendors call out in front of their beloved shops, the tunes of folk artists performing on the streets. Yes, that's right. In the past, whenever I heard the sound of those tunes, I always felt that they were worlds apart from me. Nenny and Liyue probably view me as a non-human. And they are right, in the sense that I never could connect with humans' artistic expression and their sentiments. So I haven't been able to integrate into their community and be a part of their lives. At least, that's the view I held in the past. Only more recently did I start to realize that the only barriers are ones that I have erected with my imagination. The way those melodies make me feel isn't all that different from other people after all. They're about mundane details of everyday existence. Life's ups and downs, joys and sorrows. Even though we come from different backgrounds and have different stories to tell, when it comes down to the most common things that we see and experience around us each day in the city, in that sense, we're all the same.
You go, Ganyu! You're really making progress. You have loads of friends in Liyue Harbor when you think about it. Like, okay, maybe some are more like coworkers and bosses, but at the very least, Keqing and Shenhe are your friends now, right?
Yes, I am. Technically speaking, we should refer to each other by the conventional forms of address used among fellow disciples. But now that I know what constitutes a friendship, I do believe we are more friends than co-disciples.
У вас это общая мачеха.
Thank you, everyone.
Once the days are warmer, I would like to host you at my home in the city. Please invite Keqing as well. I've planted many types of flowers. I'm sure some of them will be to your taste.
You are too kind. I couldn't possibly.
Nonsense. You are my friend. I have cultivated and cared for the flowers just as you taught me. Once you've seen them for yourself, I am sure you can advise me how to do an even better job next. I will save some for decoration. We can feast on the rest.
Я оставлю несколько для украшения, остальное можем съесть.
Then, thank you in advance. Wait, what is that saying again? If you insist?
Do people say that? I'm not completely sure either.
It doesn't matter, okay? You got the point across. No need to split hairs. Paimon's more concerned about your idea of a girls' night out. Eating flowers? Really? Does this have anything to do with you both being the disciples of that illuminated bird?
Возможно.
Who dares refer to one not by one's adeptus title, but merely as that illuminated bird?
Та просветленная птица прилетела.
Master.
Our greetings, Cloud Retainer.
Ah! There it is! The illuminated bird has landed!
Пайман, больше уважения.
Double humph. Now she has the gall to use it rather than she, even after being chastised once already. Barely a moment has passed since we last met, and yet your impertinence has reached new heights. Very well. If you refuse to learn your lesson, one shall scold you no further. One has received your message from Ganyu. On the matter of the Adeptus you seek, one suspects to know their identity. Well, shall one lead the way?
Да, пожалуйста.
I still have to complete my training for today, so I will bid farewell to everyone here.
Very well. Await my arrival at one's abode later this night. On this special occasion, you should indulge yourself with some savory dishes.
If you want to release a Shao Lantern, come and find us anytime.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Lantern Rite to you too.
Теперь она напевать стала.
Is this Quaily Plains? Cloud Retainer, why did you bring us here?
Ganyu is of course familiar with the name Guizhong, but have you ever heard of her?
Возможно. Не знаю, не помню.
Guizhong is another name of Agentis, the god of dust. She was extroverted in nature and adored social gatherings and inventions alike. Long ago, this region was yet a prosperous assembly. Guizhong often invited her friends to visit her home, reserving for us seats around the largest stone table. Sea Gazer would always bring out his latest treasure and place it upon the table. He could be quite the braggart. Though usually a mild-mannered fellow, when it came to those collectibles he was so fond of, he always loved to show them off.
Paimon remembers that name. So that's what Sea Gazer was like.
He was an old friend and a former rival. One has many memories of him. Once he had brought out the treasure, it would predictably become the center of attention. Neither Guizhong nor one was content to let him just steal the spotlight. So we would then also present our proudest mechanical creations. As Adepti, we were each gifted in our own ways, and naturally proud of our accomplishments in our respective fields of expertise. As a result, one often quarreled with Sea Gazer. His treasures were not even of his own making. He just used his exploration skills to dig them out of the ground. How, pray tell, could he compare to me, when every single one of one's accomplishments were crafted by one's own hand?
Cloud Retainer, you are getting competitive again.
One digresses. Regardless, every time an argument occurred, Guizhong would come over to watch us during our mutual lambastics. On some occasions, she would join in, and on others, she'd take one of us by the limb and start uttering the most ridiculous nonsense.
What kind of nonsense?
No kind of nonsense were we spared. Sometimes she would brazenly opine, why argue between yourselves when neither of you could ever hope to beat me? Other times, she would make unsolicited suggestions, such as, once you two are done arguing, let's go to the foot of the mountain and grill some meat. She always sought to make everyone happy, and one must say, she had quite the gift for it. No matter what nonsense she said, one never felt bothered or offended. It also helped that she never referred to one as that illuminated bird or ladybird.
Come on, get over yourself!
Anyway, just as our impassioned arguments would reach the apex of acrimony, Marchosius would bring his delectable dishes to the table. Who would dare snub the stove god and his wondrous creations? At the sight of him, we would all immediately drop the argument and prepare the table for a night of feasting and drinking. Back then, one was always bothered by how the cups Rex Lapis brought were always too square for one's taste. Can you see yourselves ever enjoying a drink from a square cup?
Да, чё бы нет. Не знаю, насколько это удобно и неудобно. Зависит от чаши. Если это какая-нибудь такая рюмка, то в целом, ну, квадратная и квадратная особо роли не играет. А если это прям чашка такая здоровая, то может быть это и неудобно.
Then you are most tolerant, but that is its own virtue. Even one could never find fault with Marchosius's cooking. As we ate, Guizhong would continue to find topics for conversation, filling the table with humor and laughter. Each of those old fossils had their character flaws and points of obstinacy. So why was it that whenever we dined together, we always had a marvelous time? We would drink together from a spot high in the mountains, until the moon set and the sun rose, and only then would the banquet finally come to an end. Streetwood Rambler would often remain to admire the flowers with Guizhong before returning to her own abode. The glaze lilies were far more abundant back then. Entire fields of them would appear to the eye as a veritable sea of flowers.
Streetward Rambler?
That would be Ping. You probably know her as Madam Ping.
Oh, okay. Wait, this is a lovely story and everything, but didn't we come here to find that Adeptus from Mr. Dvorak's story? Or are you saying that it was Guizhong? Didn't she...
Alas, long has one avoided this place for precisely that reason. The sights here are a reminder of a time long gone, and evoke much sorrow. One should have guessed that you would disrupt one's poignant moment of mourning with your incessant questioning. No matter, one will share the whole story with you now. In times gone by, one quarreled oft with Guizhong concerning mechanical principles. We each had our ideals, and neither would yield. Under the pretext of a social gathering, one invited the impartial Rex Lapis to judge the quality of our creations. But Rex Lapis declared that Guizhong's Obscuro Vulpus mechanism was superior. Though one was too proud to acknowledge it, in one's heart, one knew that Guizhong was indeed the superior talent in the mechanical arts. As for the story between Guizhong and Streetward Rambler, that begins with a certain bell. In Guizhong's opinion, while mechanisms were no substitute for human composers, they were yet capable of producing simple but fine melodies. But Streetward Rambler believed music to be an expression of the soul, an emotional enterprise that could never hope to be replicated by machinery. They argued endlessly, until one asked Rex Lapis to intercede. He confiscated the bell and designated it for ceremonial use. Thereafter, one would often find them convening in the mountains, discussing music, mechanics, and all the affairs of the mortal world. But these good times were not to last. War broke out between the gods, and soon engulfed the Guili plains. Guizhong was overpowered by the enemy, and fell in battle. When Streetwood Rambler and I arrived at the scene at long last, all that remained among the ruins was her lifeless body. After this, at Streetwood Rambler's request, Rex Lapis granted her the cleansing bell for safekeeping. To honor our friend's memory, one made a few finishing touches to her ballistic device.
Many lantern rites have passed since then. Many greetings and goodbyes. Upon what do you gaze? The Guili Plains?
No. It's everything. We think of human life as like a lantern that's lit one minute and extinguished the next. But are we Adepti so different? Perhaps as dust settles after a storm, we too must one day return to the world below.
One has always been austere and private by nature, and has never relished socializing. One's dealings with Guizhong were born out of discussions on the discipline of mechanics.
What? You have loads of friends, and you seem pretty chatty.
Just because one is not ignorant of social graces does not mean one is fond of them. One is perfectly capable of partaking in conversation despite being introverted. But in the end, one is nothing like Streetward Rambler. She is dauntless but thoughtful, not to mention eloquent and wise. Moreover, her friendship with Guizhong was far greater than one's own. Back when they were rivals, they would often compete against one another in the realm of musical composition. That cleansing bell was one of Guizhong's proudest works, having the ability to both compose and perform.
Wait, that's weird. Didn't Madame Ping say she pestered an old friend for that bell? And she also said something about being a vain beauty when she was young or something.
Streetward Rambler, a vain beauty. My foot. That bell has a sad history. Clearly, she refrained from sharing with you the truth of its origins, since the right time had not yet come. As for her old friend, who else could it be? As soon as Streetward Rambler heard that a certain Zhang Li wished to borrow the bell, she realized that the man was none other than Rex Lapis, and that he had made an enormous decision. After all, we all have known each other for several millennia. Some things between us are
Millennia.
implicitly understood.
Я услышал моление. У меня сейчас начнутся вьетнамские флешбеки, я не хочу. Я никак не одолею эту дрянь. Ну ладно, я давно уже к ней не заходил. Когда-нибудь одолею, когда у меня будет достаточно свободного времени.
Whoa! So they were talking in secret code?
Enough of your intrusions. Where was one up to? Ah, yes. The cleansing bell is powered by a mechanical art, and can be used to great effect as an accompanying instrument. After the passing of its creator, it was used on numerous occasions during rites of parting. But Streetward Rambler did not acquire it from Rex Lapis for the purpose of producing further funerary tunes. No. Each time she rang it, it was to play the tune that Guizhong composed on it. The two once clashed over their beliefs about the meaning of music. Who would have thought that with Guizhong's passing and Streetward Rambler's mourning, two tunes composed in discord would eventually become one harmonious composition? Once upon a time, Streetward Rambler also loved gatherings, liquor, and music. But after Guizhong passed, she preferred her own company. She could often be found sitting alone at a mountain summit, contemplating and reminiscing with her zither. The music would go from mournful to soothing to impassioned. Many years passed before she finally composed a melody to her satisfaction. In celebration, she played the tune to the clouds. Regrettably, one has only ever heard her play that tune once. Which brings one back to the matter you've been investigating. Perhaps it was during that performance that the ancestor of your Fontaine friend fell into the water and was saved by Streetwood Rambler.
But if she was so happy with the melody, why would she only play it once?
One was also greatly perplexed by this. After suppressing one's curiosity for a long while, one finally approached her and asked why she would retire the tune after having spent so long on it. In response, she said, though the strings that played that melody survive, the one who inspired it is gone. Tell me, Cloud Retainer, when the one attuned to my soul is no longer here, who else could hope to understand this tune?
Aw, poor Madame Ping.
I just remember being taken care of by you when I was young. Once the Archon War came to an end, I stayed behind in Liyue Harbor to honor my contract. Although I met Guizhong a few times, I never knew anything of this particular story.
Guizhong was quite the visionary, but tragically passed before her time. Her manuscripts still lie unfinished in the realm of clouds. Blank pages give one cause for contemplation on what might have been. Had you not decided to search for that mystery Adeptus, perhaps these stories, too, would have been lost to the sands of time. As of now, you know the truth. That the Adeptus who rescued the drowning man was none other than Streetwood Rambler. Do you intend to discuss this with her?
Владыка песен и скитаний. Мне почему-то это напоминает этого Венти. Он тоже как бы, ну, бард и скиталец.
Do you mean Ping might find the topic too distressing?
Precisely. The passing of our old friend is a heavy topic that both of us are usually careful to avoid.
If I may be so bold, Cloud Retainer, could it be that this is just your own personal opinion?
Oh? How so?
I've been in Liyue Harbor for quite a long time now, and I've witnessed many farewells along the way, so I too am well acquainted with the pain of the passing of a loved one. But this doesn't bring the city or its people to a standstill. They have to keep moving forward. Someone as perceptive and wise as Ping will surely have come to understand and embrace this. Though these immortal mountains have lost an Adeptus, the harbor of mortals has gained a wise elder. No loss can ever be undone, but there is always much that can still be gained. Ping has helped countless people, and will guide many others in the years to come. And all to whom she extends a helping hand become her friends. People she can admire flowers and discuss music with. Though it is heartbreaking to lose a kindred spirit, life goes on, because there are new friends waiting for you further down the road.
We even asked Madame Ping what she thought about adding a music festival to this year's Lantern Rite. When we get back, why don't we just ask her if she'd like to perform? Maybe we can even get her up on stage.
You youngsters and your imaginations.
Why don't you come with us? It's been a long time since you last spoke with Ping, and Liyue Harbor is always decorated so beautifully during the festival period.
Is not every Lantern Rite the same in this regard? Were there ever anything new to discuss? One in Ping could meet any day of the year.
I disagree. Each new day and each new year is different from those that have come before. How long will you simply let them pass you by?
The edibles she brought this time were indeed quite delectable. Very well. Then one will be off. If the other old fossils have sneaked away into the city to amuse themselves, one shall soon find out.
All right. We should be getting back to the harbor as well. We don't want to keep her waiting. Once the Guili assembly, now the Guili plains. Say, if we planted flowers there and cared for them carefully enough, do you think that one day we'd be able to recreate the sea of glaze lilies?
Allow one to take back one's praise from a moment prior. You are still far too given to flights of fancy, child.
What? Cloud Retainer? You were still listening?
One observed that you were making no effort to leave, and returned to chasten and hasten you. This time, one is departing in earnest.